Hi guys, AzureAce here and I am back with another Dragon Ball Super episode discussion. In the last episode, episode 53, Goku, Beerus and Whis headed to Universe 10 in order to investigate their apprentice Kaioshin, Zamasu, in order to determine the validity of Whis' suspicion that Zamasu is related to Black. Goku fought with Zamasu and during his fight released Zamasu's ki, which all three noticed was extraordinarily similar to Black's ki but not the same. Eventually they headed back to Universe 7 as they did not have enough evidence to suggest that Black is the same as Zamasu as we come to episode 54, Inheritor of Saiyan Blood, Trunks' Resolve. As we get into the episode, Trunks seems to think he's Jesus for some reason. He starts floating above water and does a bit of image training where he basically just tries to picture him defeating Black and trying to find ways that he can, counter Black and fight Black. And I must say, the way these images are being animated and portrayed is really nice. I very much enjoyed it. We see Pilaf going into the lab and Brief's working on the fuel for the time machine, and Bulma's still working on the machine itself, and then Pilaf starts fiddling around with the coding on the computer for the time machine, or I guess it's for the time machine anyway, with his technical expertise, and Bulma actually thanks him for it despite him being quote unquote just a kid, but we know he really isn't. We switch back to Trunks with Mai and Shu watching, and Shu tells Mai about how he's image training, and Mai starts to try and visualize her kissing Trunks, which is still really discomforting. But then Whis, Goku and Beerus return as they crash into the ground because Beerus and Goku were talking so loud that it put off Whis' sense of speed control, which I found pretty funny. We cut to a scene with them all eating and Whis explains what they discovered to Trunks, with Trunks asking if there's any possibility that he disguised himself as Goku with his god powers, or he transformed into Goku or something like that. Whis replies there's just not enough to connect them both together. Beerus explains that Goku fought Zamasu and beat him, and that he wouldn't stand a chance against Goku as he already fought Beerus himself. Obviously Trunks is pretty damn shocked that Goku went toe to toe with the God of Destruction. Trunks starts to feel that he isn't really needed and that Goku can beat Black on his own. Whis and Beerus leave, and after the meal, Vegeta just basically tells Trunks, "Boy, I'm gonna train you." We switch back to a scene in Universe 10 and Zamasu is pouring tea which does have dark spots in it, which I'll get into in a moment, and Gowasu is watching a planet called Planet Babari, or Babari, I don't know how you pronounce it. Zamasu gives him the tea, but Gowasu does say that the tea is bitter. Zamasu said it's the leaves' fault that he put in it, like tea leaves and things like that. But I think we all know the real reason why the tea is like that. They're watching Planet Babari and the Barbarians are just beating the hell out of each other, and Zamasu suggests that they destroy them. Now we start to see the indications that Zamasu and Black are related. He just wants to destroy the Ningen, or the mortals of Planet Babari. Gowasu is obviously angered by this and tells them that that's the God of Destruction's job. Zamasu is adamant that the Barbarians will not have brought order to their planet in 1,000 years time, and Gowasu challenges him on that theory, and they go to this room that looks like the Matrix, and Gowasu makes tons of these little drawers appear, and he pulls one of them out, revealing the time ring box that he showed Beerus and Whis. They then go to Planet Babari, and Gowasu explains the mechanic of the time rings, and that you can only go forward into the future and then come back to the time that you came from. Zamasu does ask if they can go back to the past, and Gowasu tells him it's impossible, and that the green time rings we saw in the box were created from history being changed, and also says that another ring was created a few years back by a fool, which I can only presume he is referring to future Trunks going back to the past in the Cell Saga. We get something very interesting. Gowasu says you can only go if you're a Kaioshin. He then gives Zamasu one of his green Potara earrings and makes him a temporary Kaioshin, and what do you know? He puts it on the exact same ear that Black has it on, and in the exact same place as he had it on in the Dragon Ball Heroes GDM 10 trailer. They used the time ring to go 1,000 years into the future of Planet Babari, and we get a very nice rendition of Black's theme but slowed down, and it's very good, and it really fits Zamasu as this mysterious, possibly evil character. The Barbarians are still fighting again, But they are, starting to develop some sort of culture. We get more hints from Zamasu that he is black, and he says that as long as humans are around, the universe will never be at peace, implying that he wants to destroy them. We cut back to Universe 7 with Trunks and Vegeta, and we get this very nice flashback that's completely redrawn in the new style of Vegeta and future Trunks in the hyperbolic time chamber, or the room of spirit and time, whatever you prefer, during the Cell Saga when Vegeta goes Super Vegeta or Super Saiyan Grade 2 for the first time. Trunks immediately goes Super Saiyan 2 and tells Vegeta to go Super Saiyan 3 like Goku did, and he just laughs, and instead he transforms into Super Saiyan Blue, and we get the God music, which is hella nice. This wakes Goku up from his sleep as he is the only one on Earth right now who can sense Vegeta's ki, and Trunks notes that he can't sense his ki. Vegeta tells him if he can land one hit, he wins. Trunks actually powers down and goes into Super Saiyan Grade 3, but this was actually to trick Vegeta into making him drop his guard and powers back up to Super Saiyan 2. However, it's not enough as Vegeta just keeps beating Trunks more and more. At this point, it's turning into an even worse beating than what he gave Kabe back in the Champa arc. Bulma and Goku appear, and Bulma is freaking out because of the beating that Trunks is getting as Trunks gets smashed into a rock. Trunks thinks to himself that Goku and Vegeta can take on Black by themselves and that he doesn't need to train. However, Vegeta says he has to think of the future, the enemies he's yet to face, the strongest fighters in the universe. Bulma appears and tells him to stop, and he lets Trunks go, who then headbutts Vegeta and smiles, saying he will surpass Vegeta. Could this be foreshadowing the possibility that Trunks will attain a god form in the latter stages of this arc? I would personally absolutely love that if Trunks got Super Saiyan Blue or even Super Saiyan God. So Vegeta just walks away as salty as he normally is after that. We cut to a scene on Beerus's planet, and Whis is making dinner for himself and Beerus, but Whis' staff goes off and Beerus is forced to get it and tells whoever it is to call back later because they're busy. However, the staff floats to the middle of the table, and who do we see on the staff? None other than the king of everything, Zeno. Beerus starts freaking out and bows so hard he headbutts and breaks the table, which is hilarious. Whis appears and greets him as well, and the reason why Zeno contacted them is actually because he wanted to meet Goku, as both of them start freaking out as the episode ends there. Now it's time for my overall thoughts of this episode, and I must say it's one of, if not my favourite episodes of this arc so far. It was a perfect blend of action, lore building and comedy, everything that just makes a perfect episode of Dragon Ball. I also noticed a couple new and returning tracks in this episode, which were great to hear from Sumitomo as always. One of my favourite parts about this episode is that there were a lot of nods to the past. The flashback with Trunks and Vegeta in the hyperbolic time chamber, Super Saiyan Grade 3. I absolutely loved the nostalgia in this episode, and the small fight between Trunks and Vegeta was good as well, and it really contrasts with the Cell Saga training because of how much Vegeta has changed. There's also an abundant amount of connections in this episode between Black and Zamasu, slowly showing the idea of their connections, such as the intentions, the tea, the Potara earring, just so much. But overall, this was an absolutely brilliant episode, and I can't wait for the next one. But now, with the overall thoughts out of the way, it's time to get into the previews as we come to episode 55, entitled Hey, I Wanna Meet Son Goku, a summon from the Omni King. So before I get into the previews, for this preview I will be using the Fuji TV extended preview that's on their site. The reason being it was considerably shortened on the episode because they were advertising the Resurrection F Future Trunks edition that's airing in Japan later this month, which will be interesting to see when it comes out. I may possibly review that, but nevertheless, as we actually get into the previews, we just see Zeno chilling and Beerus looks utterly petrified as he always does when dealing with Zeno. We also see Zamasu handing his Potara back to Gowasu, and he looks very downhearted by it, so it could be possible that Gowasu has deemed him not ready to become a Kaioshin yet, which is the most likely scenario. We get to see Supreme Kai, Kibito and Elder Kai again, which is very nice. It's been a while since we've seen them. I wanted to see them a bit more involved in Super because of how big a role they had in the Buu saga, and they look either surprised or shocked So what I'm thinking is Goku is going to ask for a time ring or something like that. Now, something very interesting, there is another new character being introduced into the arc. We don't know who they are or what they do, but as you can see, they have that similar ring with them in the same skin tone as both Vados and Whis. So it's likely they are an attendant, much like Whis and Vados. Could possibly be Zeno's attendant or even another God of Destruction's attendant. Or, now this is coming from Herms on Twitter, he actually said that the kanji that you can see on his kinda tunic is the kanji for grand. So could he be like a grand attendant, the one that oversees all of the other attendants? I think that would be very interesting. But really, that's the last interesting point we see in this preview. It's going to be another lore building one, because it seems like this is going to be the last lore building one for quite a while. If you have seen the recent leaks, things are about to go down from episode 56 onwards, which I absolutely cannot wait to see. Before I end off this video, I do want to mention that Super is having another break next week due to the Olympics going down in Rio, so there will be no episode next week, and I will try to line up a replacement for my episode discussion as always. But nevertheless, please leave a like and a comment below if you enjoyed the video, share this amongst your friends. I've been AzureAce, and thank you for coming to the video.
It is I, Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, and you're watching AzureAce. Subscribe for more content like this one.